Okay, last thing about bass lines. Um, this is a pretty simple one. Do not put chords in your bass line. And by chords, I mean more than one note. Bass lines are always a single note. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason is too many notes in this low frequency, it turns to mud. That would be the technical term for what happens. Mud. It's not really a technical term. But let's say I added the third to this. If this was a chord, adding the C on top of this A would be great. Right? I'd be basically creating an A minor chord, and it would sound awesome. But because we're in such a low frequency for this, this is just going to sound gnarly. Right? It takes away from the bass line. So bass lines are always one note, or one note at a time, I should say. So we never put chords in a bass line, and that's why. Now, when you get into sound design stuff, this is what I was mentioning earlier in the first video in this segment. When you get into sound design stuff, you'll figure out why we don't do this, and you can craft sounds that have like a lot of different pitches in them that happen in the low range, but you can do it in a way that keeps it from like turning into mud like this. Let me just play like one long held note here. So if I play these two notes, this is just a minor third. We ought to like the sound of this. But it's just too much stuff too low. And the frequencies get all tied together and it just becomes a mess. So one note at a time in your bass lines, too much stuff in the low range and it just turns to mud. So if I was to move this note up an octave, it will sound fairly interesting. Right? That's an okay sound because they're far enough away to where they don't get all mudded together. And when I'm up in this higher range, if I put a note above it, it sounds fine. Because I'm in a higher range. It's that lower range where everything just gets all gnarly when it's all put together. So that's all I wanted to point out in this quick little nugget of a video. So yeah, that's it. Okay, let's move on to another analysis.